Public healthcare supply chains, they're like these giant, complex mazes happening behind the scenes, but they're the absolute lifeline that keeps our hospitals running. So, what happens when that lifeline gets clogged? Well, today, we're digging into a pretty strange mystery, the case of the disappearing orders. So, let's just dive right in with a problem that's been a real headache for Turkey's public health system for years. Imagine a hospital orders some critical medical supplies, and then, poof, the order just seems to vanish into thin air. It becomes a ghost in the system. The big question is, how does an order even become a ghost? Take a look at this number, 560. On one single day, January 13th, that's how many of these ghost orders were suddenly cleared out of the system. And get this, these weren't fresh orders. Some had been stuck in limbo for a staggering 8 months. That means no supplies for the hospital and no payment for the supplier. These ghosts were literally jamming up the entire system. So what is this system exactly? And how in the world did it get so broken? We're looking at a digital platform run by Turkey's State Supply Office, or DMO. Let's take a look at how it's supposed to work versus, well, how it actually broke down. On paper, the process is supposed to be incredibly simple, like just 5 easy steps. A hospital orders something, the supplier ships it, the hospital confirms they got it, the DMO pays the bill, and boom, the order is closed. Easy enough, right? Well, here's where it all fell apart. The entire system, and I mean the entire system, was hanging on one single step. Step 3, that digital confirmation from the hospital. But that step was often just skipped. Deliveries would get dropped off in a corridor somewhere, nobody would officially sign for them, and that digital okay never happened. This one single failure point created a massive system-wide traffic jam. Okay, so to fix this huge blockage, the authorities brought in a new regulation that basically changed the rules of the game for everyone. And it was all built around a simple countdown. The new rule is crystal clear. As soon as a delivery shows up, a 20-day clock starts ticking for the hospital. They have exactly 20 days to digitally confirm they've received the goods. And if they don't, the system just automatically cancels the order. No questions asked. And this right here is probably the most important change of all. It's a fundamental shift in risk. Before, the risk was pretty much all on the state, on the DMO. With this new rule, that responsibility gets placed squarely on the shoulders of the hospitals and the suppliers themselves. So, as you can imagine, this new rule suddenly made the whole receiving and inspection process more important than ever. It created a whole new set of pressures and procedures for everyone who is now living life under this 20-day clock. For the suppliers, the rules are now way stricter. They have to deliver to the exact right location, during working hours, with a proper delivery note. The whole just leave it in the corridor thing, that's totally over. If there's a crack, a leak, any kind of damage, the goods are rejected right there on the spot. Following these rules is their best defense against that automatic cancellation. And the pressure isn't just on the suppliers. Once the hospital gets the goods, a formal inspection commission has to be formed, and their rules are just as strict. They need at least 3 members, they have to make a decision within 5 days, and they have to be completely impartial. It's all designed to keep the supply chain moving fast and fair. But what about the worst-case scenario? What happens if that 20-day clock runs out on an item that's desperately needed for a patient? Well, the system has a kind of safety valve for that. It's called procurement authorization, and it lets the hospital just go out and buy what it needs directly. This way, patient care is never put at risk. So, on paper, these new rules create a really clear, accountable system. But, systems are run by people. And that's where the rules meet reality and where we start to see some of the challenges that still exist. And listen to this. This is a voice straight from someone in the field. A supplier said, the system is good, but collecting all the signatures can take 20 to 30 days. And that really shines a light on the new bottleneck. Even with a 20-day clock for delivery, if you're stuck waiting for weeks just to get paperwork signed, the whole flow gets disrupted all over again. Now, the good news is that officials know this is a problem. They even pointed to one crazy case where a product waited 10 months just for an inspection. They're now working on a better delivery tracking system, which shows that the hunt for a truly seamless process, it's still going on. And this whole case really brings us to a huge, fundamental challenge for any big public system, really. How do you build a process that's both fair and accountable, but at the same time cut down on all the red tape and bureaucracy that can slow everything to a crawl?
It's a constant search for that perfect balance, and it's a question that's absolutely worth thinking about.